Yeah. Ali, Rod, and Younger Ali back in the building with another A to Z. We're back at you guys. It's Sunday, December 21st. It's almost Christmas time, man.
Almost. It doesn't even feel like it right now.
I know. The year flew by.
Yeah,
man. So what's good, bro? Talking about this 6-7 trend. You sending me videos and stuff, firing off about it. Like, oh man, it's getting crazy out here with this. I mean, I thought the trend was done. Isn't it going away? I haven't been hearing the kids say it as much.
Yeah, I haven't heard anybody say it. I think what it is they're trying to get people to say it.
Is that right?
They're trying to get people to push it. Only a few people are pushing it because of a song or whatever. And they got the dude that made the song talking about how he is using it as a devil worshiping and all this other stuff, or spirit worship. And then other people were using it as so many different things, like different legislation code, legislation.
Okay.
Yeah, legislation codes and like bill numbers, and then like angel signs and devil signs and different what's that numerology as far as from a specific religion, but it's all still dealt in Satanism, basically, or spirituality, but on the negative side, So
okay.
It's like, it's almost like Christmas.
Okay, in what way?
In a way, or Christmas or Thanksgiving, in a way to where it's like, because the kids say it don't mean nothing, but it actually means something. Like, Thanksgiving is the celebration of the killing of the Indians. You know what I mean? And people are like, no, it's the celebration to get together with family. And then Christmas is basically celebrating Christians celebrating Jesus's birthday, even though Jesus never celebrated his birthday. And the celebrations of birthdays in the Bible all ended up in death. So it's like Christians are celebrating something, but it really doesn't mean that, because Jesus wasn't born on that day. So there's something behind all of it that is negative, is basically what I'm saying. Has a bad event, has an event behind it that most people wouldn't want to see that event happen again. Some people have negative feelings towards that event.
Man, I got something on it, but I want to play that video.
Which one?
What are you drinking out of, bro? I'm not even gonna lie. I saw it. I was gonna say, is that a measuring cup, bro? That's funny.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
You're gonna be real measured today. I guess you got some measured comments.
Man. And I got my coffee right here.
That's wild. The Yeti. I hear you, bro.
Yeah, man.
I couldn't let that go by. Measuring cup. Hey, I want to.
It's my fault. You didn't really throw me under the bus. I put myself there.
Hey, it just threw me back those days when you're just sipping the water out of the mason jar and all that. Just whatever you got, just sipping the water out of measuring cup. It's funny.
I like it because it's big.
It looks like you hold a few cups of water.
Yeah, it does. Four.
Four to be exact.
Yep.
Oh, that's funny. I'm gonna share this screen, bro, and pop up this video you sent me on it. I guess it's kind of. Can you see it, Ali?
Yeah, I can see it. I got you.
All right, from the horse's mouth, I guess. Let's see.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
Heard kids shouting it everywhere, schools, playgrounds, and sadly, even in some churches. Most adults like myself thought it was just another silly trend that would pass. But in reality, kids are repeating a chant rooted in demonic themes, and they don't even know it.
6-7, a meme kids can't get enough of, and teachers can't get away from. Thought to originate from a rap song on Skrilla. But the experts we spoke to say the numbers
this little
really
kid's
don't
an expert.
mean anything.
All right.
It's like slang
to like make parents be like, what does that mean? Now, Skrilla is openly and very proudly into demonic worship. The 6-7 song is literally a chant and summoning the spirits that this man operates with.
So asado, I sacrifice goats, chickens, mice. Like I do for certain though. Like I'm not allowed to explain it. I'm gonna take y'all in my Godfather crib so I can show y'all something about my religion. Ochun, Yemaya. This is Eligua, the path opener. This is the person who you come talk to when everything's going down. Speak to Eligua. You do things with Eligua. That's a goon.
Right there's a goon.
This is Ochun.
Just a further understanding, how much does these figures mean to you guys?
I can make anything possible with them. Without them, I can't make nothing happen.
Yeah, like you can put bad spirits on people too. Like you can put a person's name, birth things that inside the. You can put them inside the Agun pot. Like you basically sending Agun like metal. Like they can get shot, stabbed, something can happen to them.
Okay, so you all heard it from him. He's into Santeria, he worships demons, and he summons these spirits into people to harm them. So in specific, he mentions that he worships Oshun and Yemeya, who are each associated with distinct sacred numbers within Santeria, as their gods usually are. The number 6 is for Oshun, and 7 is for Yemeya, which are the exact 2 numbers he sang in this song, and that now millions of children around the world are chanting. Now, for the record, when asked directly, Skrilla says 6-7 doesn't really have a meaning. He says that that's just what his brain thought of when he was in the studio writing the song. But even if he insists that it's harmless, the Bible shows us that Satan has spoken through people before without them even realizing. In Matthew chapter 16, verse 22 and 23, Peter had no idea that enough was his words when he tried to discourage Jesus from going to the cross and fulfilling prophecy. Jesus' response makes this very clear. He says, but he turned and said unto Peter, get thee behind me, Satan. Thou art an offense unto me, for thou savorest not the things that be of God, but those that be of men. So when we repeat things like 6-7, just because it feels harmless, we forget that real spiritual forces are at work, shaping words, influencing minds, and quietly but surely enough, pulling our souls away from God. So I want to encourage you, guard your minds and choose wisely what you allow into your soul and even into your homes or your families. And if you need a place to start, please check out our music on Melodies of Heaven, where we always aim to uplift and to bless souls. Till next time, God bless.
Right,
yeah,
boy.
Yeah, that's she said a mouthful, but
she said a lot of nothing. Go for it.
You said she said a lot of nothing.
A lot of nothing, dude.
Well, go ahead and tell me what you heard then. Besides,
man, it's so much to unpack, right? Because she's coming from a Christian perspective. That's the first thing we have to realize,
right?
So, a Christian perspective is a monotheistic religion,
right?
Meaning one God. And we have to also think about the Christian religion in that the first thing that they did to go around to make Christianity more popular was destroy old spiritual systems. Right. So we see this in the Crusades and et cetera, et cetera. And the best way to really conquer a people is through their spiritual systems. Why? Because most things start in the spirit realm and then they manifest into the physical realm.
Correct.
So, right. So that's first and foremost to understand from the Christian perspective, anything that is not the monotheistic God is going to be seen as an opposite force or a devil.
Right.
Because that's just how it works.
That's just how it works.
Yeah.
So
so far so good, right? And so when you think about Adam was divided, which means a feminine concept came up out of Adam, which meant the female, right? Adam and Eve took him from the rib, so on and so forth. We know that story. So there goes the opposite force right there, being divided out of the whole thing, which in the Christian religion is Adam, which I don't believe Adam in this case was a real man, but more of like an atom, A-T-O-M, which became divided. And a feminine force came out of this whole thing. And when you think about feminine, it's feminine or female is also associated with the word diva. Women are called divas. And diva is also associated with the word devil, which is also associated with division. So when something comes divided, it's taking the feminine force away from the masculine, which is devil or division, which we know in this realm, everything is division. And when you start to look at these spiritual systems ancient spiritual systems prior to Christianity, they didn't really worship forces, but they named forces such as wind, fire, air, and they gave them names because they were concepts that needed to be named or described. When you think about that, that's not a monotheism. That's a polytheism. So now you have names that are associated with other forces that are
but
opposite.
not given gods, right?
Yeah, and they're not worshipped, but they are reverenced. They are talked about as such as like Oshun in this case, the female goddess of love. We know in the monotheistic religions, which are a lot about war, it's an opposite force to love. So these things are going to be seen as devil worship, but it's not. I'm not saying this guy is or isn't worshiping devil. I'm just saying from a monotheistic vantage point as a Christian, anything that you talk about outside of that is going to be seen as a devil.
Right. And I agree with you on that. However, there's a thing on there on the video where he says he puts names into the pot for people that he wished to hurt. So that is a negative thing. And even in a mono like that theology is God doesn't hurt people like that. Satan does. So
well, if you read the scriptures correctly, it says that Satan asked God to harm people, and God created evil, and God gave him the permission to do that.
No.
Christian religion.
No. I'm
Sure.
not saying that God didn't create that. What I'm saying
Okay, got it.
You don't go to God and say, God, fuck this person up. You can go to Satan and say, Satan, fuck this person up, because God's not going to fuck up his child. That's something that Satan has got to do. And the reason why I'm going to stand on that is because I do have testimonies.
Go for it.
For myself, which I'm not going to share right now, but I do have testimonies to where it has come to where God has said, yeah, I'll show you some things, but I'm not going to harm anybody because that's my child. You know, I'll show you.
I have a question for you then, brother.
Sure.
Because I see that very much like if this good dude is doing this to worship, to quote unquote hurt people, that I don't see that much more different than a knife being used to kill people or a knife being used to cook food with and make a fine cuisine. It's a matter of the intention of the person behind it. And this God of the Bible has also been used to murder people by the thousands and millions in the name of God. But who's right? Is that evil act? In the people who did it is considered a holy act, but in the people who were on the other end of that murder, that was the unholy act. So it's really a matter of perspective. And even in the Crusades, right? When we're talking about these crusaders going around and conquering spiritual systems, they were doing that in the name of God. But what if we were?
There's a difference.
Break it down.
The difference is when these people, the crusaders, were doing it in the name of God.
Sure.
Right. When in the Bible where that guy circled the city 3 or 4 times screaming and yelling, that they didn't do that in the name of God. God told them to do that. So I mean, like, you see what I mean? There's a difference when God said, hey, go do this and you will win this battle because these people are evil. That's God telling these people to do it. People doing stuff saying, yeah, I'm doing this in the name of God. It's something different than, you know what I mean? So it's like they already have the power to win. The Crusaders, because they didn't go unscathed. They lost members. You know what I mean? They died. That was them saying, hey, we're doing this in the name of God. When Moses was running away from the Pharaoh, and like when they crossed, what's that? The Red Sea, when he opened the Red Sea.
Yeah. That
wasn't him doing it in the name of God. That was God opening the Red Sea for him. God told him to do the staff this way and open the sea. He opened the sea and went across. None of his people were hurt. Only the Pharaoh's army was hurt. You see what I mean? So when in the Bible, when God does something, his people are not hurt. He doesn't lose people. But when people do stuff in the name of God, they lose people because
I don't really see the difference, to be honest.
Well,
I don't really see the difference.
It's a subtle difference.
Well, like
it's a subtle difference of
because
the loss
do
of
you
life.
think those? Oh, right, for sure.
From the good side or
so
bad
what you
side.
telling me is if God, quote unquote, said go to war and kill these people, that they suffer no casualties. And also you have to think, like, would you think these people who are doing it only in the name of God, not because God told them, are you saying that they don't pray to their God and feel like they get this direction from God?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, well, yeah, in a sense, I'm saying exactly that. But I don't know what they feel inside themselves. But I'm just pointing out the thing where in the Bible it says that God told these people to do this. Go do this. They didn't lose anybody from their army. When the Crusades did it, God didn't say go out there and go kill all these people, go smash all these religions. He didn't say do that. He didn't say do that. So when they went out there and did it, they was losing some of their, now they were good fighters, but they were losing some of their people.
So had God told them to do it, you're saying they wouldn't have lost any casualties.
They wouldn't have lost any. There wouldn't have been no casualties on their side. So that's what I'm saying. So and like what I'm agreeing with you is it is that the person's perspective and person's intent on how he used that pot. You know what I mean? Maybe he could have used the pot and said, oh yeah, I want to create $1 million and heal this person of all their ailments, and put their name in a pot, and then that person becomes healed. However it works, it's his intention, right?
Yeah, I mean, I for sure, definitely intention, and I think too, like we kind of get in trouble when we think about these gods, right, as like a person in a sense. Like God gave me the directive, as if like it was some person or person-like thing or being that said go do this.
Okay.
And it's more like an energy. And this energy is just like an amplification of your own energy versus something else. And I guess here, what I'm trying to say is, like, in the case of Oshun, which is like the goddess of fertility and things like that, what they're describing is natural energies and giving name and reverence to these natural energetic forces. And they're describing them goddess or goddess names because it's more of a feminine type of energy versus a masculine type of energy. And you said something earlier about it's all negative. And we know negative is associated more with masculine force, and feminine is associated with more negative force, and masculine is associated more with positive forces, meaning more penetrative forces or more direct, versus a feminine force being more receptive. So it's like that versus and if you think about that on a physical level, going out and stabbing someone that's more of a masculine type of energy. It's penetrating force or bullets versus receptivity, and you can look at it no further than the male and female sexual organs, to be honest. Like a penis penetrates, a vagina absorbs. And it's kind of like talking about those concepts. So we kind of get in trouble when we assign these gods this type of energy when it's really a manifestation of more masculine forces. And feminine forces. So I say all that to say that these energies are indiscriminate of anyone. They could just be harnessed based on what you want to do.
Right. I agree with that. I agree with it. If you want to look at it from the a source or energy, right? If you want to look at it from that way, then yes, I agree with you. You have a ball of energy and you can source it. You could either use it fight or flight. You know, you get this massive ball of energy. What do I want to do with it? I'm scared as fuck. Do I want to stay here and fight this dude, or do I want to run? You know what I mean? You can use it however you want to use it. I think what they do is, I mean, what the process is when it comes to energy, I don't think that I really feel that, and I think you kind of agree with this too, in a sense, that when a person is putting the name on Jesus, like wind, fire, Jesus, God, tree, lava, heat, you know, stuff like that. They're just categorizing it. This is the God energy. This right here is energy that does not make me feel good. So we're going to call this energy Satan energy. You know, even though it's the same, but it's the way I used it or the way it showed up to me.
Yeah.
You know, that same energy, just like you said earlier, may show up to somebody else. That same exact energy that shows up to me as the most magnificent, beautiful gold energy that's showering me with love and joy and prosperity is showing up to this other person as a thief, a criminal, the most treacherous thing that has ever happened to them. You know what I mean? Because they're for whatever this energy is to me, it's the total opposite to them, you know, because it has inflicted them with some kind of stuff. You know, I'm seeing like a criminal might see, hey, that dude just pulled $16,000 out of his bank account. Oh my God, this is a great day. You know, so I mean, for everybody, it can be seen as that energy is seen as something different. Because when he goes and rob the dude, that dude might be like, oh my God, I'm being robbed. I'm glad I got my pew on me. Pow, 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 pow. You know, and kill that robber that thought it was the greatest situation in the world. You know, now he's at the hospital dying, talking about, oh my God,
it was not a good day.
The worst piece of energy. Exactly. So I do believe it is perception. It's perception on the energy that you get. And what I just described right now is a confusion of energy.
Yeah.
Because all energy even though it's one ball of energy, it may not blend. And that might be a good situation for that guy. That guy really wanted to kill somebody. So we got to be aware of how we assign it and and understand that some people assign energies good or bad instead of looking at the event that happened.
Yeah.
You know, because they look at the event and assign it as good and bad. The event is neutral. The event don't give a fuck whether you like it or not.
Right.
You know, so we got to look at the event and then we choose, do I like the event or do I not? How am I going to rise from whatever this is? If I deem it as bad or deem it as a chance to grow, a chance to learn, a chance to rise up, a chance to be resilient, or a chance to celebrate, a chance to feel glorious, and it's whatever.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. I think you said a lot about it, and like the creator, I would say is like would say, all right, you organisms down there in this place we call Earth. There, here's the energy. Here it is. It's all here. Now you do something with it, and it's kind of like that.
Yeah,
You-
yeah,
yeah, it's all there. You do something with it. Now, whether you look at it as a demon and something that's negative, then that's on you. Or whether you look at something positive, or that's on you. But you can create and do what you will. Why is it like that? Because if we are created in the image of the creator, then we have to have all the material to create. And it's all here. It's up to us how we
yes,
choose to use it to create. And that was my whole point. Like she's gonna come, like this lady was saying, it's just the devil. Well, sure, you can use it, see it that way, but then that limits your ability to create and use the energy. You're limited because now you're only looking at half of the energy that it takes to create something even more powerful, right? And that's what my whole point was. Like when Adam was split. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. When Adam was initially split, and the monotheistic religions, they don't really talk about feminine forces very much. It's a very patriarchal religion. They even have males, quote unquote, giving birth in there, like the female came from the male, which in real reality, that's not how creation really works. The feminine births something. So it's
Right.
a total cutting off of half of the energy when it's when you look at things from the monotheistic viewpoint. And that's why those religions who went out and conquered, like I was saying earlier, they were taking the full aspect of the energy away and installing something halfway to limit the people's ability to create from their own power. So it was kind of limiting their view of what they saw as the creative forces. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Okay. I want to ask you to speak on the
sure.
half create. I mean, you just said it, but go a little bit deeper if you can with the limiting creation, or the half use of energy. And go ahead. What angle you gonna hit it from? Because I can bring it to you in a different question.
Well, so the thing I mentioned earlier about the best way to conquer a people is to make them to take their spiritual systems away, because once you do that, you've limited their ability to tap into who they are, because all this stuff is nature, right? It's what we're really a part of, is what we're in, is what we would use to create. And one of the things that they would do is, when you strip that, you strip away the natural concepts of being able to tap into what's natural, which we are natural beings. We're part of this planet. We're part of it. It's part of us. It's in and out. So it's just a matter of really limiting the perspective, because you said it is all about perspective. And when you limit someone's perspective, you limit what they see as a possibility in their own creation process. So to be able to be in full power, because he said the only way to really defeat a god, which we are, and when I say defeat a god, is to make the god think they're not the god, because
Right.
then they're like, well, I don't even know how I could do that because I'm not that. And you can see this played out in so many of the hero movies, right? One of the first things that these heroes go do is they go and rediscover the powers that they have. Sometimes they'll show it as like, oh, I got to go back to Krypton where I was born and look at who my father was, and and that's who I really am, or sometimes in the case of Peter Parker, he's got to go rediscover himself. And that's what that is. It's like rediscovering the natural way in which you create. And if I take that away by making you think the power that is here for you to create from is evil, then you won't even really look at it as something that's part of you. You just always just kind of say, oh, that's not me, that's evil, that's over there. And that's the real trick
And
here.
make you ashamed of it. Yeah.
Yes. And my wife and I were talking the other day, like, I said, one of the things that these religions teach, and I remember being a kid hearing this, like they would say, like, people who would do roots or work with natural things like herbs and mushrooms, and they create their
Holistic
potions,
type living,
holistic stuff. Oh, don't mess with them. They're root doctors. Those witch doctors, you know, that kind of language. But what they were really working with is natural energies. But in a monotheistic religion, don't do that. That's idol worship. That's not of God. Only God can heal. Only God can, only the God of the Bible, only Jesus can heal, you know?
Right.
So that limits the ability to use nature and tap into what you really are and connect and really create even more healing. So they got rid of those concepts and installed allopathic medicine, which we know is, you know, pills and different things, which are even derived from nature themselves. But you can't use that with our religion. You just gotta, you know, pray. So it's just kind of that. Hopefully that made it more clear.
No, it did, and it brought up something else. Is how we have been distracted from our own natural powers, our own natural abilities. Like just a couple real quick situations. One of the guys was talking to me. Now this guy is a sniper hunter, right?
Yeah.
He was in Afghanistan, Iraq. He was a sniper hunter, and he was talking about how when they was doing they you know, when you're in Iraq and Afghanistan, there's different roads that they were allowing people to use. So if you some were just military roads. It's like, you can't come past this way. If you start coming this way, we're going to shoot you up. So, but they had 3-day 24-hour watches for specific roads, and it was like for different patrols. Like, so one patrol will have the 3 days, 24 hours, and they were being shot at, you know, pop shot at, worrying about a car coming and blowing up or whatever. So it's like, he was talking about, after a little while, it became super easy to only go and still remain focused to for those 3 days only have 2 hours of sleep.
Yeah. And
they could still function. Like it just became easy to do that. Just like when you start not really paying attention, like in the military boot camp or even some other situations, maybe even some divers start realizing they can hold their breath a lot longer. You know, when shit starts fucking up, they can hold their breath a lot longer than what they thought they could. Or like me, I fell asleep walking, you know, and I walked for a good 2 football fields sleep, you know, and the reason why I know is because when I fell asleep on our hike, I was underneath a canopy, you know, in the forest. When I woke up, I was on the flight line, about 200 yards out of the canopy when I woke up. So I mean, it's like our bodies can do so many different things than what we have been told it can do. So
sure.
I feel that distraction is one of the things that, again, we always go back to control. We can take our control back if we start realizing that. And if we stop arguing with people about things that really don't fucking matter, you know. And,
right.
and one of the things that I believe, because there's a guy, he doesn't believe in, not you. That's
all good.
But there's this guy who doesn't believe in God. He's a freaking atheist, 100% atheist, which is cool. I don't care. He does believe in energy, but he will stop and argue with the person about God. instead of just saying, okay, you believe in God. You know, either I don't want to hear your story, or him convert God into source, or him convert God into the universe, or him convert God into energy, or whatever. You know what I mean? He has the ability, because it's not like the story that he's being told doesn't fit his idea when you convert God to energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like there's people out there that just want that to be real in their heart. My way. It's
my way. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm right, you're wrong. Jesus, Allah, Buddha, whatever it is, the universe. I believe in dinosaurs. You know, whatever the fuck it is. You can be right, but so can other people.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, man, you said so much, dude. I don't even know where to start with what you said so much. And yeah, and knowledge is an odd thing, right? Because you know, we get taught in our society that the more you know, kind of the better you are, you know? And we have to realize that this knowledge, the highest knowledge really is self-knowledge, right? Because when you realize self, then you realize that you're everything.
Agreed.
And in the everything goes really, in a sense. So the point I make with that is that everyone's perspective is valid, because it's different expressions of the one thing, which is everything. And in that, everything kind of goes. So that's why I try to be careful about using the word God or creator in a way that kind of encompasses everything versus kind of putting it into a box. Like,
wait a minute,
and
you're trying to put it in a box, or you trying to let
I'm trying to keep it out of the box.
Oh, okay.
Trying to keep it out of the box, because when we say terms like if you say God, automatically certain things come into your mind about the imagery
religion.
of what God is. Yeah. Or if you say elephant, you have a certain energy or imagery that comes into the brain. But the creative part that put this all in motion is beyond all of that. So I try to attempt to say it in a way that encompasses, because I think there's a scripture in the Bible that says he goes by many names.
Right.
So when we say creator, God, Buddha, we're talking about different perspectives of the same thing.
Yes.
So even devil or Satan. So that's why I say, man, we got to be careful with that word, because it's just such a loaded term, and that in and of itself can create division.
Yeah.
So we have to try to find a way to say it in a way that encompasses all of it. So it's very tricky in the language, which we get on all the time. The language in and of itself can be just divisive, because and we look at, I think we talked about how the tongue in and of itself divides things. The tongue divides things. When you, like, if everything is everything, right? Everything exists and it's all positive and negative energy. As soon as I define it as a tree, now it's divided from everything else.
Right.
Or if I define it as Ali, then Ali is now divided from everything else. But we know you, who you are, who I am, existed before you had the name Ali.
Right.
So it's really trying to get to that and connect to that, what you were prior to being named something.
We have to, yeah. Getting back to the fact that we are the source of which everything comes from.
Yes.
And realizing that, even though you ever heard that concept of there's too many chiefs, not enough Indians?
Yeah.
I think that is there to confuse people too, because people don't understand
that saying. That saying right there is meant to confuse.
That saying is there is meant to confuse and to destroy things, right? It's not. It's meant to make you not collaborate. Meant to make you not show your powers. I only need one leader. No, you don't.
Okay, I get you. Yeah.
You know, like we have 18 different sergeants here. You know, you got 18 sergeants and we got a mission. Does one sergeant stand up and say, hey, let's go do this? No. They all get the mission. Okay, this is what I'm good at. This is what I'm good at. I'm good at this. I'm good at that. I'm good at this. Okay, so this is how we're going to do it. I'm good at telling people what to do and putting it together. I like what you said here. I like what you said here. We're all leaders. We're all chiefs. Now, you go ahead and do what you do. How many people do you need? You're a supporter. Like, because there are people who are naturally supporters, you know? Okay, you follow him, you help him out. You follow him, help him out. You follow her, you two stay right here. Y'all go ahead and make up your plan. You design this, you do this, and then we'll all go this way at the same time. You know, so it's that they're destroying people. They do things so we don't collaborate.
Yeah.
If you have if you have a bunch of leaders, you can destroy the system if the leaders aren't fighting against each other.
Yeah, and
that's
start
why
to recognize they are leaders.
Right. That's all they got to do is realize I'm the source. I'm the source of what's happening here. You're the source of what's happening here.
Yes.
And you are the source of what's happening here. Let's get together.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, they both were the source. They both were the source. If they could have got together before they got murdered, this would be a different world.
Yeah.
It'd be a different world. And the people behind them didn't want that to happen. You know, not just the white people, but the black people. Yeah, nah, we don't want to be soft. We don't want to be soft. We don't want to do that. You don't have to be. You can stay who the fuck you are.
And look at what you said. We don't want to be soft. Soft and hard, you wouldn't know hard without soft. You need hard and soft.
Yeah.
They go together.
Exactly.
They're just opposite ends of the same energy.
Exactly.
And you know what's interesting about what you said, and that was a great analogy about how that recognizing that we're all leaders is good. Like we both former Marines.
Yeah.
And in the Marines, the highest thing is kind of considered the rifleman. I was an admin clerk. I worked in the office, but that one unifying concept was every Marine is a rifleman.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what the job was, what you did on a day-to-day basis, you still had that core element that ran through. Every Marine was trained as a rifleman.
Yeah.
And because that was kind of the highest concept. That's what we go do. We go kick ass. And if need be, we could all do that. And there's a scripture in the Bible that says, you know, if you've done it unto the least of them, you've also done it unto me, which is saying that everyone has value, and we get taught that some people are just less valuable than others just because they do something different.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? And the value is in and of itself just in the person. You know, my son and I were talking about gold, investing in gold the other day. And they'll say, the market would say gold is worth $3,000 today. Tomorrow, next month is worth $4,000 an ounce, and then it's worth. But there's also this common thread that they say that gold has certain intrinsic value, no matter what the market says. So the intrinsic value is the fact that you could take that gold and make something out of it. We're each like that. We all have certain intrinsic value, regardless of what we do. And that's what we have to realize in order to come together, that we all have some intrinsic value. But when we keep labeling and separating, that creates the consistent division. But it takes that perspective to be able to see we all have intrinsic value. It's just for us as the citizens and each other to mine it out of each other, to help each other bring it out. In our culture here, you know, like let's just say someone who's mentally retarded or not quote unquote normal. In other societies, they don't throw those people away. Some people, there's this guy I used to follow, Malade Simone. Forgetting how to pronounce his name, but he was from Africa. But he would say they would marry those people and take care of them because they saw that it was like almost like showing some supreme love to be able to take that person in and love them because they had these infirmities and things like that. But here in America, we throw those people away. You know, so it's just, and even that's a matter of perspective.
Oh, hell yeah, because even right now, I was just like, why? You know, get somebody that's regular. You know,
because love in and of itself, like we have love, but it's more conditional than it is unconditional, and we don't oftentimes really see it. So it's just that being able to really tap into a supreme level of love and service that goes beyond the understanding of the average person, right? And that's why I think it said once you fully become into this awakening, you have a peace that passes understanding, and it's the understanding, not the understanding of the creator or the source, because the creator and source gives and loves indiscriminately. It's just us and our limited perspective where we love with condition and serve with condition. You know what I mean? Until you reach a higher level of consciousness, then you can do it in a way that goes beyond their understanding. Even something as simple as like loving animals. Some people love animals so much and they do everything for the animal. You know what I mean? And sometimes you're like, man, why are they kissing on that animal like that? Or why are they doing that? And it goes beyond the understanding until you rise to that level of consciousness and love for the animals.
Yeah. And then when like I think, and I'm going to say this because I am a dog owner. All right, you're a dog owner too. So, but there's
certain levels to it. Go for it.
There was something that my dog did the other day.
Yeah.
Which made me understand that the power of intention is a universal law, not a human law.
Mm.
And the reason why I'm saying that is early in the morning, it was early in the morning, you know, dogs sleep a lot. Early in the morning, we had a guy that came here and doing some work for the house, doing some work in the house. Now we had two here. One guy, my dog barked at all the time. He couldn't walk up and down the stairs without getting barked at. And this other guy, his name was Armando. He come in and my dog loved him. He was cool. He was like, hey, what's up, dude? And then walk away, you know? But Armando, my daughter was upstairs. Armando started walking upstairs and my dog was like, this shit ain't happening. You ain't coming upstairs. not with this one. You know, not while this was up there. So he was like, you know, trying to get him. So he get to the top of the steps. Armando thought, oh no, he's going to be cool. My dog was like, nah, don't take another step. You know, barking at him, like, don't take another step. So Nalia had to come grab him. And when he grabbed him, he was still like, get away. Now, this is where the intention came in. Monster was having a bad day. At that point, he was like, this motherfucker then came upstairs while Nalia was up here and she didn't let me eat him, right? So when they went for the, you know, so when they went for the walk, my daughter came back and told me she noticed that every single dog that my dog does not like happened to be on the walk. You know, one of the dogs that bit him, and this is not a common issue. Like my dog has a lot of friends out there, you know, but every single dog that was out there was a dog that he did not like, you know. So it was like when he went through that situation, his mind was so angry and heated that everything that he saw, the universe brought anger and hate to him. He was like, that's what I want to see. I want to fuck some shit up. You know what I mean? So when he went out into the world, that's what came at him. Every single dog that he hated was at him. So to me, it's like what you just said. Now, mind you, I don't believe in bestiality. That's not my thing. You want to beat off a dog, you want to kiss him in the mouth, you want whatever you want to do, that's your thing. But I do believe that dogs and other animals actually have intention. They have the ability, maybe not so much to create, or maybe they do have the ability to create, but they're creating things that we don't understand because we're not in their minds. You see what I mean? So you know how they say elephants always remember everything? Maybe they don't. Maybe they just like, I want some water and I'm just going to walk this way because water has got to be this way. I know we're going to run into some water. I can smell some water. Don't know exactly, you know, whatever. I don't know. We don't know what.
Yeah, I have no idea how they come up with that, bro.
Right. We don't speak their language. But if we pay attention to them, because horses and dolphins have the ability to heal us. They know when we're going through things with their supersonic hearing. Horses have the ability to sense our sadness and joy, like way more than dogs, supposedly, you know. So it's like when they use horses for healing people. You know, I don't know if you ever seen that. They heal vets with PTSD. Mm-hmm. You know, they go and their horses cry with you. They cry with you. They laugh with you, you know? So it's like, there is a part of understanding in the creation that is actually here. Have you thought about this? I might have said this before, but I got to bring it back up. I'm going back to almost like the Avatar, but like say you got a house plant. Did we talk about this? Say you got a house plant and you know house plants, they clean the air and they do their job. They clean the air and they put out oxygen. What if the plants are healing? Like say now I'm not saying chop your finger off, but like say you shave your beard, right? Or you put some of your DNA, not poop or whatever, or maybe poop because poop is fertilizer. You put your DNA inside the soil some way. Maybe a girl, she puts her menstrual cycle stuff inside the thing and allow the plant to do its job. It gets the sun, it does that, it absorbs that DNA, and it can say, the plant can say, I know how to fix this. This is what's out in the world, because that's what it does. The trees, it grabs stuff from the world and it says, let me put this out. It needs this. Oh, it has too much of this carbon dioxide in the air. Let me suck this up and put more of this out. That's what it does. Remember that one movie that it was a movie where the plants, like people start dying everywhere, but it was the plants have the ability to attack the humans. But by putting out their chemicals. Do you remember that movie?
I don't think I saw it.
Okay. I'll find it for you and show it. And it's a good movie, but like people was killing the plants so much, and putting so much poisons into the water and the air. The plants was just like all over the earth. All over the earth they somehow finally connected, almost like the Avatar-ish. but they finally connected, and they was just like, okay, here, we got to destroy this plague, and the people were the plague. So put out his pollen, but the pollen had a certain chemical in it that was created by all the plants, and when the people breathed it, they would die. What if on the opposite side of that, once it gets our DNA inside of it, it knows this is what's going on. Let me fix this and put this out. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I'll
of
put
course.
this out in the oxygen so that this person doesn't have allergies no more. So this person doesn't have this breathing issue anymore. So this person can actually get whatever. Let's fix this DNA.
Well, I think that's probably spot on, man. I mean, if you think about like what you just said, like, how can I say?
Here, let me add this real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
And the reason why I'm saying that is because we hide the death. We hide death from the earth by putting the bodies into a box.
That's what I was thinking of too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I think you're spot on because we hide the death. We put the bodies in boxes. I was looking at my wife and I went and got this crystal. I can't remember the name of it. Agronite, whatever. But basically they were saying that this crystal grows off of humans' bodies that have been put in the ground. And if you think about, we have crystals being made in our bodies all the time. So they even said that even in the land of America back before, hundreds of years ago, you would find crystals everywhere before they got mined and harvested or whatever. And it makes me always think of that movie, was the Crystal Palace or Crystal, this old school movie where there was crystals. But anyway, so if we put humans' bodies in the ground, we would see more crystals. We would see more fertilization of plants. And if we weren't killing all the plants and trees and cutting them down by the thousands and things like that, and we lived in a more symbiotic relationship with the planet, like the indigenous people here, they were said that prior to colonization of America, there were mounds everywhere on American soil. But these mounds, which were dwelling situations where they were heated and cooled by nature and the way they were designed, and they weren't like bringing electrical wires and putting plumbing, and those types of things that we do. We just live in a very unnatural way that's not very kind to the planet. And if we lived more like that, we would probably see more of these healing concepts. Earth wouldn't be so, we wouldn't have so many illnesses. And I think you're right that a lot of these illnesses and things that we experience are just how we've been taught to live, which we call civilized, but is anything but civilized, so it's just that. I think you're right.
Go ahead.
No,
what about the Truman story?
Where he was living in hold on, that's the one where he's living in that little
the dome.
Little sphere. Yeah, the dome. Yeah.
Now, picture that, the Truman story, on a massive level, the size of a city, maybe the size of New York, but that many people, and they all have started from children stolen, and they're all being controlled and being told, like, they're not us. They don't get the same information we get. They may not even have the internet. They have different television programs that they can watch. They feel that their life is great. They can teach with that concept. They can teach anybody anything they want. You know what I mean? A government could say, just like, remember, we had this conversation before, I believe, the modest proposal. Remember that, Jonathan Swift, the modest proposal, where
tell me about it real quick.
Okay, where the guy, and this is it's a true story. It's a true thing that happened. In the 1700s in Ireland, they were going through a famine. Jonathan Swift wrote a letter to the board, the government, and was like, "Yo, this is what we need to do. We can go ahead and start in order to fix the famine and fix the poverty levels. We can start buying the children from the people because they're not stopping having babies, right? And in order to feed them, because they're eating up all the food, we'll go ahead and process these children that we buy from them and feed them back to the people, right?" And
okay, I remember telling about this now. Yeah.
Okay, right. So the idea is, where do they get the people to process the other people? Where do they get the people to process the babies? You know, what kind of sick person can do that? So with that idea, what if they switched that and they had already had people children that, you know, orphans or whatever, that they've taken away, put in a different land. You see what I mean? They put them in a different land. They told them, this is what we're doing. And they chopped up the bodies, and they was taught how to process them. Now, you don't need to bring any new people in, because now they know how to process them. Let them live. Let them live. Now, after 2 generations of them, because they're still having babies, you know, they're growing. You don't have to govern them that way. You can still monitor them, but you don't have to govern them, because they already know what it is. But they are monitored by what they can see, where they can venture. They're told you can't go this far, because we already know that the government corrals people. We know that they corral people. We know that they want people in the city. You can't go out into your own land and live there. You can't go out into the forest and just live there. You can't just, you know, there's so many different rules that we're not allowed to do. You know, you can go to Yellowstone, and there's land that you just can't go on. It's like, why can't I go on that land? It's government land, right? But if you do sneak on the land, you can, not saying I have, but if you sneak on the land and go for a hike, maybe about 2-3 miles, some places a mile, you can see a house, a nice big house. Somebody's living on this land, but it's protected by the government.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? So with that knowledge,
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. So with that knowledge, we know that they're hiding stuff, and we know that there's places that we can't go. They're already telling us that there's not enough land, and we know for a fact there's enough land for us to live.
For sure.
There's enough water. There's so much, there's water, there's land, and all we got to do is grow food. We know that trees produce water. So if we can plant enough trees, if we can migrate enough water to a certain area and plant enough trees to where they can grow, they'll bring the water to that land.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head, bro. It's an open prison.
Yeah.
And the prison is the mind. And they use fear to control. They use fear to control, just like when you see them herding sheep, like they get the dogs out or whatever, and they're scaring the sheep until the sheep go a certain direction. And that's what the fear about the devil, the fear about you might go to jail, the fear about you're gonna end up in hell if you do this, and it's all a mental prison that keeps you from. Yes, because it starts mental, which controls what you would do physically. Yes. So that's why I said earlier, way back, the best way to conquer people is through their spiritual system first. Because now you know what they will and won't do for the most part. I mean, there's always an anomaly, right? There's always some people who are going to break through the control, but those are the ones who are troublemakers, right? You know, so so they make real prisons for those. They make real prisons for quote unquote criminals and the quote unquote people who have mental health issues, who are able to see beyond a lot of them are able to just see beyond the mind control because they can see things that us people who've been more governed don't see. And they're out here talking to things. They're talking to spirits. A lot of them, but they're crazy. We gotta put them. We got lock. Yeah, some of them we gotta lock them away because they're gonna tell too much. And about these lands, that's all too. So once they conquered the spiritual systems, they then confiscated all the physical resources and then started redistributing them back to us for a cost. So nature gave us all this stuff for free. And now it's just being controlled and redistributed out at a cost so that the control is maintained. And the whole point of the system is just to continue to maintain control.
Yeah.
Through those different mechanisms. Go ahead.
Yeah, and to give you just another idea. I know you said it and I know you recognize it, but I'm just going to put it out there because I know you said it and I know you recognize it. But the prison, there's a prison without walls too, and it's not just the mind. It's the ghetto. There are the projects is a prison because once most people who and they can loosen it up and tighten it up however they want to, but with that idea of being free but not free at all because you live in the projects. They put other things around those areas, okay, so this is what you do. The police department's right here. Throw crack in there. So just in case something else comes up, we can go ahead and snatch as many out as we can. Go ahead, throw some cocaine, throw some heroin on that side. Throw
some weapons in
there. Yeah, so now they're surrounded. We can thin the herd whenever we want to, but they're going to stay here because we're going to put other communities on the outside that don't want them. So we put other communities to trap them in this area, and we'll use the mental part to tell them, hey, we can't go over there because the police are over there. We can't go into those areas because those people are stuck up in Siditi. Mm-hmm. And if we do try to go over there, whatever. So the prisons are still they're mental and the physical, and there's some without walls.
Absolutely.
That are prisons. Yeah. So even with that concept, they can take people outside and we will never know that they're living. And yes, I'm going to flat earth.
All right. Yeah, let's do it. We got about 5 minutes. Go on with the flat.
No. I'm just saying with that concept, with the concept, what have we been not taught? You see what I mean? What have we been not taught? There was this thing when you look up at the moon, right? You've seen the moon, you've traveled, you've been other places. The moon looked the same everywhere we go, right? When you look up at it. If you take a flat earth map and lay it down and look at the moon looks like a reflection of the flat earth map. So what an idea is that the moon is just reflecting the earth and all of the lands. It's that far away that it's just reflecting the lands. The white part is the water. The dark parts are the land.
I mean, that's certainly a concept.
So if that is a truth that we're being not told, we are part of the people inside a larger prison with a wall, here and physically. But we're so lost, we don't even want to go to see what's on the outside because we believe it's so far away. Probably because it is, but it's still more than what we believe.
Yeah, I mean
or
that's such a
know.
rabbit hole, bro. I spent about a better part of a year and a half in the flat Earth rabbit hole, and I can't. Yeah, I went through so much, really trying to
I ain't going
understand
back.
it. No, it's not. Yeah, I'm not going back down that rabbit hole, bro. I spent too much time there, and I concluded that because, like, knowledge in and of itself can hold some power, right? But only thing you're gonna find here in this realm is that you're not gonna be able to come to a clear-cut conclusion with all of the confusion going on, because the very nature of being here in this realm in 3D is confusion.
Right.
That's the whole point of it. So it's hard to really come to a clear-cut consensus on a lot of these debates, because the whole point of it is just to continue to confuse and keep you in a loop. So I just
And we
found
can't
myself going,
experience it. Yeah.
I kept finding myself, all right, there's a loop, but then there's an opposing viewpoint to that, and then there's another hole. Well, what about this? And then you just come up with that, and then you realize that true truth is irrefutable. Like there's if something is really true, there is no lie in it. There is no confusion. So what is the common thread that is the truth that cannot be refuted? Because on one end there's confusion, and on the other end there's truth. Where is the thread that's true that cannot be refuted anymore? And I wasn't able to find that in flat Earth, and I wasn't able to find that through so many of the things that we debate. But one thing we know is true is that we're here. We have bodies, we have souls and spirits. So it seems like the truth then is somewhere on the other side of the physical realm that has to be sensed and tapped into without knowledge, because knowledge in and of itself is not necessarily the truth. It's a perspective on the truth.
Right.
And everyone has different perspectives, so you have to go beyond the perspectives and get to the real truth. And I wasn't able to find that in a lot of the debates, and this is why I put a lot of the conspiracy facts down and started saying, okay, well, where's the truth? We have this body, so we can get back to what we really are, which is an extension of nature. Well, what are the laws of nature? The laws of nature can't be refuted once you really. Yes. So that's where the truth is. And that's the only truth that binds us back to ourself. Therefore, all true knowledge is knowledge of self and what we are and how we operate. So that's what the truth I'm on. And, outside of that, outside of getting into that, what are the truth of how we operate and how it really works from that level, then it's just going to keep that state of confusion. And I had to get out of it because I spent so many years debating and trying to get to truth, because my soul, my spirit wouldn't let me not get to the truth. And that's what the truth is, truth of self.
Right. And I'll say this, there's still laws of nature that have been hidden from us.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Because it will unlock everything for us and what we are.
Yeah.
And they give us glimpses of it, right? Like we can see that certain people are psychic. That's true. How are they? It's because they've tapped into how we really work and how we really operate. And you can't do that by debate. It's an experience. The only you can embody. An embodiment of who we are is the truth. And that's all of our goal here, is to get to the place where we embody our full truth. And then we can recognize, like you said, that we're all leaders in our own right.
Yep. And we're all the source. So we are creators.
Yes, sir. And that's the gold, or the chrisms that some people call it, or the Christ consciousness that they're talking about, or the mind that Jesus had, that we should all achieve to. That's what we're trying to get to here, because that's the only thing that's going to wake us up. So with that being said, bro, let's get to the truth of us, man. For anybody who catches this episode, we started with the 6-7 trend, but as always, we always get back to the true knowledge of who we are as beings, which are all love, and just self knowledge, self awareness, just self realization, man. Just realizing who we are, who our power is, and connecting to that, and then helping as many other people connect to that themselves, and then uniting under that.
That's right. That's right. So much love. See you next Sunday.
All right, bro. Yeah, I'll be here, man. Have an awesome week. See you next time.
All right, bro.
Yeah, bro.